Hi guys, I'm your creative director and founder of BUFFBAY Magazine. Today in our first series we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Hilary El Missuri.
Hello. Hilary is on the third year course of BA Honours of Film, BA Honours. And we both study at Norwich University of the Arts, and today luckily I have been allowed to speak to Hilary for our first podcast episode of the series. Yay! Yeah. So can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey into filmmaking?
Okay, so my name is Hilary El Missuri. A lot of people don't know how to say my name, but I don't think I say it enough, so I'm going to say it again. Hello, my name is Hilary El Missuri. I'm from Tanzania. I'm born in England from Tanzania, and that's where a lot of my art comes from as well. I'm from East London. Yeah, I'm from East London. So I'm not exactly a Norwich native, but I've been living here for about 3.5, almost 4 years.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Quite some time. I love it so much. Oh, Norwich is such a it's such a cute little village. I feel like a little Sylvanian person, like a little Sylvanian bunny living in this place. Yeah, but I've just been making the films. I've been making films for about 10 years now. I started when I was 13, then 23, so I've been making films for that long.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I love it very much. Yeah.
Oh my god, that is absolutely amazing. Honestly, you're so great. Oh my god, 10 years, people. Remember that, 10 years.
Jesus. Just this December.
Since what? Mm-hmm. Jesus. Yeah. Oh my lord. So for you, in your time with film, was there any pivotal moments in your life that made you realize filmmaking was your calling, as you might say?
I think it's such a small memory that, like, when it was happening, I was just like, I don't know, I think even when it was happening it could have been like a significant thing, but I remember I used to watch a lot of Channel 4, actually I still do, but growing up I watched a lot of Channel 4 films, E4, Channel 4, Film 4, anything with 4 in it, that was like the streaming service that was like properly like immersed in. Like if it wasn't Film 4, it was Film 4 plus 1, so if I couldn't get it on the first time round, I would go to the next one, or if I wanted to watch it again, I'd go there. But I remember, if there's like one particular moment, I remember there was this one time as a kid, I think I was like 13 or something, and there was this film called Byzantium coming out with Saoirse Ronan, where I think she was like a vampire with a boyfriend that had like she was a vampire, but Saoirse Ronan played a vampire, and her boyfriend was like this anemic young man. Like it was such a, oh my god.
Oh, okay.
It was definitely, it was a situation, man.
That really sounds yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah. Crazy, but yeah. Okay.
And I remember there was like this was like before like streaming services and things like that, so you couldn't just like, oh yeah, there's a film coming out, I'm gonna watch it when I want to watch it, whatever it is. This is like, you didn't have to like consider ads or anything like that. And I remember me and my twin sister, we really wanted to watch this film because they do previews the day before.
Oh, okay.
And I remember like we'd watch films all the way into the morning, so like even though we had school, 9 a.m. Like we'd watch film all the way into the morning so you could get the previews for the next day.
Right.
And like the next night as well, not even like the next day. So we'd like so Byzantium was coming out, and I remember I couldn't fully remember what the film was called, so I wrote like Bitsarium, something like that on my hand. So the whole day I had this random phrase on my hand. In secondary school I had this random phrase on my hand, Bitsarium, and I was really trying not to get it to like rub out or erase or anything like that. And like, I feel like that was like probably that little period of slight obsession with this one film was, especially the fact that I still remember it 10 years later, because that was like when I was 13. I think that moment might have been like maybe like the snowball, especially that period of me being 13 and like 13 to 16, and even up until now, where all I would watch is Film 4 and Channel 4 films. I think that whole period, 13 to 16, and that writing that movie on my hand and like making sure I don't sweat so it doesn't like erase from my fingers, that was probably the best, or like starting point of like realization like how much I actually love film. Didn't even remember the title, but I was like, I want to watch this film.
Yeah.
This little anemic boy and his vampire.
Sorry, that story sounds hilarious. Please, oh my god, you know what? I might actually have to have a look at this film, because what on earth?
Yep.
Okay.
I remember it like years later. That film was definitely like significant and like a little bit of a catalyst for me.
Yeah.
In my career. Yeah.
That's really, oh my god, that's actually very interesting. Especially because Channel 4, like I feel like they're very left wing. Compared to a lot of like other streaming platforms. No offense, ITV, BBC, but we know you're right wing, okay? So like they're very. I feel like Channel 4 is more like accepting. Like there's a lot more you learn about culture within Channel 4 like streaming services, like even like E4 and Film 4 and stuff like that. Like I find that there's a lot more. Yeah, a lot more diversity and inclusion, and like I don't know if you've recently watched there's a series they have on there recently called Go Back to Where You Came From, which honestly sounds horrible. The title, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. But I've grown to like these things that I should hate because of the social commentary and because of how liberal Channel 4 tends to be.
Yeah, they're very like daring. What's the word? Like their captions or titles are very grabbing, so you're immediately drawn to it. So like I feel like a person, a white person, might turn around and look at Go Back to Where You Came From and think, ooh,
that's racist.
That's racist. Or that's, ooh, is this Channel 4 sending people that we don't like, immigrants, back to their homelands? Which it is not. It is basically a story. I think it's like 5 to 6 people. I can't remember now. I watched it a little bit a while ago. But a majority of them are racist and feel that people of colour should not be in the UK. They should go back to where they came from, or that like eventually the UK we're all going to be wearing like hijabs or reading the Quran, which I think is just really disrespectful, especially for what a lot of immigrants have done in this country that many others would not. Like there's a lot of seasonings and clothes and textiles have come from people of colour, and you know, I'm glad that Channel 4 is actually taking accountability and showing these people, like they sent all these people to a few different countries that are currently in horrible situations of war right now. Some of them got sent to Somalia, some I think got sent to Yemen, but they got sent to all these different places, and when all of them came back, they all felt bad for how they were perceiving people before they'd left. They actually realized, oh my god, like these people are just coming for a better life. They're trying to do the best for themselves and their families. They're not here to destroy the British Empire, as they say. But like one thing that me and my mum have talked about is that if it wasn't for people of colour, you wouldn't have half the shit you own. If we're gonna really sit and talk about it, you wouldn't have half the shit you own. And I'm glad Channel 4 talks about it.
And I think that's the thing as well, and that's one of the reasons I want to be part of kind of the movement that Channel 4 has been kind of promoting / facilitating and encouraging. Because they do the daring, I think in media in tandem with reality, a lot of migrants and immigrants, they take the risks, they take the sacrifice, and they do the more daring things that people that are more domestic, I would say, like real English people, that they might not be willing to do, because they have to strive and fight and persevere so much more.
They really do.
It's not just about being a human being on a daily as a regular thing. It's about coming out of the struggle and the hardships that could be in your own home country. You want to be in your home country, but this is what's happening there. So there isn't really you're taking the few options that you have and making the absolute most out of them. And that's things that people in the UK do. I'm not like negating the struggles and the perseverance that British people have, or born British people have, or whatever you want to call it, domesticated British people, whatever it is.
Whatever
people that are
is.
from here,
From
people that are from this country.
Yes.
But like the things that people aren't from this country do is they have to put up with racism. They have to put up with an immigrant status, not being able to get a job as an immigrant. There are people that have been living here for years and years and they're still not legally allowed to get a job. But they're not just here they're not here for a holiday and they overstay.
No, they're not here for a holiday.
Yeah.
They're here for their better life.
For their betterment.
To start a better life for themselves and their family. And I mean, like, wouldn't you want that? Like, if you was in their situation, would you not want that? You know,
I would
like, and I pray for
them.
them every day. And honestly, I just think it's terrible what's going on, and I feel like there needs to be more voices, like Channel 4, like our generation, to speak up. We need to speak up, guys. I'm being so deadly serious because, like, as they say, oh, your voice doesn't matter. Your voice does matter.
Because if you don't do it, who will?
Who fucking will? So sorry.
Yeah. We can't keep waiting for someone to lift us up. We have to. Unfortunately, as hard as it is, we have to be the ones to pick ourselves up. We have to pick each other up as well.
Exactly.
But it starts with us. Everything starts with us.
It really does.
Yeah. And then once we do it, other people will feel motivated, encouraged, inspired to do it as well. But it has to start with us.
It really does. Yeah. Thank you. I know life as a student is very difficult, especially with the cost of living crisis. You know, our generations are the one. Our generations are the one that had to deal with COVID and not doing exams, and you know there was like a lot of stress because nobody knew really what was going on at the time. Like everyone said, oh, we're just going away for 2 weeks. I never went back to high school after that. Like that took so long, and then starting off at college, like everything just felt different. Like I feel like the world had changed a bit. But with that into consideration, do you find yourself making sacrifices or challenges to continue your filmmaking journey? Like, do you feel like these things have impacted your time of study?
I think, how old was I when COVID happened? I was like, oh my god.
I'm trying to think how old I was. I think I was 15 going to 16.
I was 17.
So you would have been 17,
yeah. I was probably like 16 going to 17.
Oh my god.
I was like a year old. Whoa. But like I was, the whole period of COVID, I was like 17 going to 19. And then right after COVID kind of started concluding a bit more. That's when I started uni. I started uni in September 2021. And yeah,
long time. We're in 2025.
Oh my god, yeah. I think because my one is obviously I think I didn't do, especially because I was still in sixth form, I didn't do anything practically.
Yeah.
It was all research. And part of that was going through like art programs and training programs. I was really lucky. I think I've always been very lucky that my parents made the decision to come to England, live in London specifically, and then live in East London more particularly, because as a kid I lived in Leytonstone, and then like all throughout my childhood lived in Leytonstone and Tanzania back home, and then lived in Walthamstow from my teenager, so from 13 to 19. Well, I still go back home right now in Tanzania, but would say COVID, fortunately enough, it didn't really impact me in the negative ways that I massively thought it could.
Yeah.
Especially because my career is solely reliant on crews and like having a team and being in person, and it's so practical. But because I'm a writer and I'm a director as well, the director part I couldn't do because there's nothing I can kind of coordinate. But I would say the writing part, especially because COVID was, you're inside all the time. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. I think for me, I love to write as well. So the first half of year one of COVID, I should say, was all about writing about a shitty experience, basically.
Yeah.
Like writing how boring it is to be, like how it kind of felt like entrapment.
Yeah, it kind of felt like what she called Rapunzel in the tower when she, you know, when Mother Goth was telling her, "You've got to stay in here."
All the potential was just trapped in that tower.
It was just like, I don't know. Did you? For me, I feel like I felt really isolated. Like I just felt shut out from the world. Did you feel that? Like, did you feel really isolated, or?
I felt like that already.
Oh.
I have African parents.
Yeah.
My parents are from, well, my family, we're from East Africa in Tanzania.
Okay.
East Africa and East London as well.
East and East. Keeping it East.
So it was like, I think especially because they kind of experienced what it was like being immigrants in this country, so they got the rough side of the world before I could experience that. And as a first generation British person, I was the first person, and I'm the first of four as well, so I was the first person to be introduced to London, I guess, as an actual Londoner, as an actual British born England, like I'm an actual Brit basically, so I can't go back to my country. I'm from this country, man. And so COVID, I don't think it really made too much of a difference, especially because I kind of prefer to be isolated and inside.
Yeah.
I think I've grown that habit that my family, that my parents have developed for me, where the outside is dangerous. There are racist people, there are hateful people, there are spiteful people that will prey on your downfall. Like,
ooh,
okay, it's not the end of days. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my god, I feel like the outside world seemed like the devil in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like your inside space was great, but outside was like supposed to be hell. Like it's if you were walking and living in hell.
Yeah. And it was like the Christian fear as well of we have to stay inside.
Yeah.
Like anything out there, especially because I was turning like 18, 19. I reached kind of like, I don't know, I guess the when everyone else is like, oh yeah, I'm turning 18, I'm an adult now, I can drink or whatever it is. I was like, okay, I'm 18 now, it makes no difference. It's not like I get any extra privileges. But I think I've always been more introspective.
Yeah.
I feel like, and that's what I say as well, like, two of the most important things as a filmmaker is networking and charity shops. Like networking and charity shops. Because those are the places I could go. I went to lots of charity shops, like particularly for like that COVID period as well. That was the most fun I had during COVID. Like those charity shops are the most fun I had. And my only kind of permissible reason for going out and socializing with people is networking. So I tell my parents, hey, I'm going to this networking event. Can I leave the house? Can I get a little bit of cash to, like, I don't know, just maybe go out for drinks or something after that? So my only reasonable like excuse for going out has always been work. So that, like, for my parents, like work and education were two of the most prioritist things, and I feel like that's how I kind of formed myself as well. I might go off on a tangent right now because I feel like I'm getting lost in my thoughts for a second.
No, you're
But like, I think COVID just forced me to be more internal.
Yeah.
I couldn't go outside. I couldn't go talk to people and socialize. So the only person I could know and understand was me.
Yes.
So the only person I was familiar with was me and my twin sister. So it was this is who I know. This is who I am, basically. And I'm grateful for the fact that my sister is like, she does politics now.
Oh my God.
God bless her so much.
Jesus.
Lord.
Well, let's praise her. Okay, let's praise you.
Pray for Royce. Pray for Royce,
Praise
please.
for Royce.
Please.
Begging.
She needs it.
Politics
she needs it.
right here. Wow.
Oh,
Wow, wow,
Lord.
wow.
And I make
That's
films.
a difficult.
And that's the thing as well. She does law. She studies law.
Oh wow.
And while I was over there being more internal, focusing on Hilary, finding out who she is more deeply, a lot of it was confusion because I don't know who I am and I have nothing to measure up and compare myself to because I'm not going outside. So my twin sister, she was like, she represented kind of like this dichotomy of play and kind of like seriousness, and we had different types of motivations.
Yeah.
And she because she does law and politics, she debates a lot. So she represents herself through her voice, through her standing, through her confidence and her strength. And that's what I'm learning to do.
Yeah.
That's in COVID, that's who I kind of, those were the threads I kind of started investigating. Who are you? What do you like? Why are you here? Like, it wasn't even particularly about film. It was like, why are you here, like, as a human being?
Yeah, like, what's your purpose?
Exactly. And film and my humanity and my experience and my exploration as a human being, they've all been so intertwined and interconnected.
Yeah.
That's why also I'm learning to split the professional and the personal as well. But in the process that I've had film, it's like, who are you, basically? That is the question.
Yeah.
That is entirely the question. And so when I ask myself, who are you, that's when I look at Black, that's when I look at Africa, that's when I look at Tanzania, that's when I look at England, that's when I look at my parents as immigrants. I think only maybe this year I was like, I'm first generation British.
Oh my God. No, because sometimes you don't think about that, do you? Like, I think I'm second generation. But God,
I've never really thought about it.
oh my God, no. And that is actually quite powerful.
It is, and I've only started maybe coming to terms with that in my third year now.
Oh wow.
Because it's literally been a journey.
Oh yeah,
it's literally been a journey.
Yes.
I've been here year 0, so my foundation year 1, year 2, and now I'm in year 3. And then that whole time I did 4 years of therapy. I developed my craft, so finding out who I am, what I want to do in terms of like community, feeling isolated because I'm in Norwich, and then it's been such a roller coaster of experiences and explorations and understandings and empathy. I've developed different kind of compassion and empathy for myself, because before I was just kind of like a dummy for my parents. I was just like, oh yeah, you're their kid.
You have to do what they want you to.
Exactly, you have to live up to their sacrifice.
Yeah.
And before it was just like pressure to live up to that sacrifice, and now I'm like, I've kind of investigated that, and I'm coming to terms with that sacrifice by acknowledging my identity. I've found that being in my third year of uni particularly as well has given me the things like coursework. Oh my God. I'm learning to actually, like, people actually care about what I have to say.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course they do.
I never ever thought of that ever at any point. But now that I'm focusing on Hilary, who she is, that is how I'm understanding anything else. I can't understand anything else if I don't understand myself.
So you are working on your next upcoming short film, Bibby, Taking Bibby. Firstly, what was your process behind the writing of Taking Bibby?
Oh my god.
I told you I did my research, people. I did my research.
So Taking Bibby was inspired by a line I wrote a couple years ago, about 5 years ago now, and it was because I've been in documentary for so long, I wanted to ask myself, how do I care about the people I make documentaries about?
Yeah.
And I remember watching this one Netflix documentary about priests. No, it wasn't about priests, it was about these people that had survived priestly abuse.
Wow, okay.
And they made a documentary that's now on Netflix called, oh God, I can't remember. I think it's called Promise, something like that. It could be. I know it starts with a P. And the documentary was about survivors of priestly abuse, and the survivors, they made the documentary, so they directed it, wrote it, acted in it, everything, and the whole experience was them exploring what they went through, but making a production about it to show other people, to make themselves visible to other people that have been through abuse by priests.
Yeah.
And that really started to make me question how I make the documentaries that I make and who I make them with, because I started looking. It was Taking Bibby as about a whole experience. It's an exploration of my morals and ethics as a documentary filmmaker. Because in the documentary, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this looks like a good production. There's the lighting, the cinematography, the performance, the script, the location. Wow, wow, wow. And then I got to an extent where I forgot what the actual message of the documentary was. We're talking about people like survivors of abuse. That is, at the end of the day, that was the message of the documentary. But I was, as a filmmaker, I was prioritizing the production and not the actual context of the documentary, not the human context of this documentary. And so in Taking Bibby, I explore. So Taking Bibby is about an obsessed documentary filmmaker whose career is dying out. And so he uses a Congolese woman named Bibi. He uses her story. He interviews her to make a documentary and try and uplift and revive his reputation. And in making this documentary, James, who is the obsessed documentary filmmaker, he kind of steals her essence. He erases her more and more, and she becomes less of a human being, less of an actual person recounting her traumatic memories of traveling from Congo to the UK. She becomes less of a human being in that sense, and more of a concept, more of a subject, a character. And those are exactly the terms that we use to describe our documentary characters. We call them subjects, we call them characters. Sometimes actors, although that's not completely accurate. But I wanted to explore my own bias and possibly ignorance in the way I perceive and create documentaries. I want to remember and keep myself grounded in the fact that I'm filming human beings. Although I'm bringing in my sound equipment, my lighting equipment, my camera equipment, and I'm the director controlling the narrative essentially, I'm talking to a person, and they're giving me the privilege and the grace to tell me their story. And if it weren't for them, I would not have a movie. Genuinely, if it weren't for them, I would not have a movie.
Oh wow.
And Taking Bibby is me exploring the kind of like an exaggerated extent of what it would be like to disregard the fact that you're filming a human being. So James, he ends up consuming Bibi with his camera. Like he traps her in the camera. And the title Taking Bibi it used to be called Take Bibi because I wanted to insist on the fact that documentary filmmakers don't leave your subjects behind. Don't take the story and leave the human. Take the story, capture the film, capture them on video, but remember that they aren't just a subject, they aren't just a character in your narrative, they're a person. And especially because in Taking Bibi, Bibi recounts how she lost her sister and the journey from Congo to the UK, because a lot of migrants, when they're going from Africa or anywhere else in the world where they're escaping for political or economic asylum, they travel by sea, by boat, which is the most dangerous, factually the most dangerous way of traveling overseas. But many people do it. Hundreds and thousands of people do it every year or every month even, because they have no choice. They have no other option. They have to do this.
They have to do that.
They have no finances, no economic opportunities at all. They're in war. They're experiencing brutality, and they need a reprieve. They don't want to travel by sea. They don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that. But for their safety, that's the reason they choose
for
that
the
route.
one option that they have. They have to flee their home. No one wants to leave their home.
No, they don't want to leave their home. But
no one wants to. But
for
they
their
have
safety, then they have to. And honestly, it's so sad. Like, because majority of the time they don't survive when they're coming over, because the boat can't withstand that mileage, like going that distance.
And even and that's even after they've given their entire life savings.
Yes, they have.
This boat
to go onto that boat.
Exactly, with hundreds of people on it.
Yeah,
like I saw
hundreds of them.
I saw a dinghy with up to almost 200 people. This dinghy this dinghy was supposed to take 50 people maximum.
Freaking
200 people.
200 people.
200 people on a dinghy. Making this document, making this film was a challenging. It was a challenging and upsetting opportunity that was so necessary to exist. This film has to exist. Does have to exist. Because we need to recognize, the danger of saying go back to where you came from. What do you mean go back to where you came from? You don't know how much it took to get here. They're not here on holiday. They're not here because we have TK Maxx or WH Smith. They're not here for.
They're not for the shops. They're here for the survival. For a roof under their head. You know, for food to be put on the table. So that they're not living in fear and in danger anymore. So that they can experience some form of peace.
So their child can have better options.
So that their children
can have actual options.
And education.
Yes.
And see themselves being progressed. No, that's okay. Seeing themselves being progressed into the human beings that they want to be shaped into. You know, like they're fighting for freedom. They are fighting for freedom. What we were fighting for in civilization, you know, with the civil rights movement back in the 1960s, we were fighting for that. That's what they're fighting for
now.
Currently. Can you hear that? They're fighting for freedom currently.
Every day, every minute, every hour, every second. Someone is crossing the English Channel. Someone is crossing through Italy. Someone is crossing through France. Someone is coming from the Congo, where our iPhones are made to come here. To come here.
Just
Someone is coming from Congo.
Our iPhones are made
in Congo.
In Congo. Okay. So my final question for you today, Hilary, is what do we expect to see from you in the upcoming years? Is there anything exciting you can tell me?
I think during my anytime, any place, anywhere, I love writing and I will be writing. I'm testing the limits of my openness and vulnerability at the moment, and I want to keep writing and expressing myself and exploring my heart and who I am in my words. And exploring other people's stories, and I have a passion for making films about people that go through trials and adversity and a lot of sacrifices. So I will be making a lot of documentaries about that. Making films about lots of different people. Docs.
I feel like documentaries are just so your thing. Like you're really great at expressing stories and culture and heritage like through your stories, and it's very impactful, very positive impact for the Black British community. And if many of you didn't know, Hilary is also the Vice President of Norwich University of the Arts African Caribbean Society. So I'm just letting you know, Hilary has done a lot for the Black community.
I'm trying my best.
She has really tried. And they meet every Thursday, usually from 5 till 8 p.m.
Yes, we will be kicking off after election period.
Oh,
so after the 28th, events will start up again. We've been a bit quiet because of my campaign period and taking baby for the past about 2 months.
I mean, you're in your final year. You kind of have to take, you know,
busy as hell.
You're busy. You know, you're a busy bee. So it makes sense, but I think that you've done a lot for the Black community, especially here in Norwich, because we're a very, very small knitted Black community. Because there's not many Black people that currently go to IBM, but I think that's just because of the demographic where we are. But Hilary has done a lot for ACS, and I remember, I think it was last year or the year before, no, it was 2023, like the academic year started from September 2023, 2024, when you did the Culture Share Day. Was it?
When was that? Oh my god.
Like the Culture Heritage Day?
No, that was 24. That was 24. Yeah, I've been president from 24 to 25.
But you did like you brought a lot of
oh my god,
food.
Yes. Oh, I remember when I brought the mandazi.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So good. So good.
It's kind of close to like Jamaican dumplings.
It really is close, but it's still different though. I can taste the difference. You know, like they're really good though, I must say. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much today, Hilary. Thank you guys for tuning in for our first episode of our podcast series for BUFFBAY Studios. Please stay in tune because we do have a few more podcasts coming up this year.